blood drops that we're seeing. We don't know if that was already there before investigators got here and before we all got here. We don't know who it belongs to. The sheriff right now isn't saying. He did say that they have processed a lot of the DNA testing, and what's come back that he's willing to share right now is that, of course, they found Nancy Guthrie's DNA, but they said they
welcome in
discuss whether or not they found anyone else's, and still after that,
Arizona Sheriff update on Nancy Guthrie. Search big update from the Sheriff Department and Tucson, Arizona. Moments away for the press conference to address the public. Craziness information coming out real soon. What will we know?
Let's go to you, because I'm sure that the FBI is looking into this. These reports of a ransom note.
And is this ransom note real? According to TMZ,
in Tucson and to TMZ,
they think it could be real. They're not police, but they feel that it's real by how it was written. According to TMZ, they feel the ransom note is real. Come on in. Good morning, good afternoon, Crystal moderators. We're in Tucson, Arizona, live 11:07 local time. I'm going to give you a little bit of coverage here.
Very indicative of certain things that they intended
we are probably, normally these press conferences are a couple minutes late.
Tools, because they can go in
maybe 5 minutes late. Sometimes they're right on time.
The emails, and I know that they're working on doing that right now. In addition to that,
once again, the tip line, 1-800-CALL FBI.
Behavioral analysis unit from the FBI, they are the best. And they go in and they do a full statement analysis, and they determine, based on the wording and the verbiage that was used, they determine how it's best to reply to it. And so I have no doubt that they're heavily involved. That's something that we often do in our investigations. We'll take information, we'll go to BAU, and they'll say, look, this is the best way to do it. This is the best way to word it. So I have a very strong feeling that the Guthrie family has been working in coordination with the FBI and other law enforcement agencies.
Good afternoon.
As they delivered that message last night. And again, the way that it was transmitted on Instagram, I've noted before, I don't think that's a coincidence. Instagram,
I want to give everybody a little bit of update, though.
A very broad audience.
No disrespect to the panel here. Just want to bring you guys up in an update real quick. Wait a minute. So they, the family talked last night. They're not, if there is people holding this beautiful grandmom, they're not willing to talk. They do not want to talk. Okay, whoever has this ransom note, I repeat, the people involved in the abduction, and by the way, we're going to talk about who's giving her medicine. She's supposed to be on heart medicine pills, blood pressure medicine pills. Who's giving it to her? Because if you don't take it for 48 hours, it's possible it can lead to you, being unalive, right? But the people that are behind this, or person, I believe it's people, we'll talk about that, they're not willing to talk. Now, the family talked last night. A lot of you, or some of you is on here right now. 35 of you heard it live. If you haven't seen it on this live, I'm sure you heard it. They are not willing to talk, but the family, we watched it yesterday, looked a little worn out at the same time, almost like they knew that she's alive. I don't know. But anyhow, they don't want to talk.
And that is they have to communicate.
So here we go.
They can do their best options, the abductors, is to release Nancy, leave her at the foot of a church somewhere, a store, or take the step to communicate to see if you can reach your goal.
Is she still alive, folks? Yes or no?
I don't know how to say this, Darren, but it almost leaves you hopeful that if this is an abduction where she is being, held hostage or for
hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in.
There are a couple different scenarios. Maybe we'll learn more about that here shortly. But that was the analysis this morning on Today. Your reaction to it?
I mean, that's one component that you can look through the lens of. But I think what law enforcement needs to do, which I think they probably did, was connect with the credit bureaus to find out what the usage of her credit card would have
Welcome
been.
in.
Why this is important is because this can be quite telling as to what individuals visited that residence. Was it DoorDash? Was it Uber Eats? Did you have landscapers? Did you have a service employee, etc.? That can be quite telling as to the identity.
For me, guys, I'm sure the FBI is 20 steps ahead of what I'm thinking. For me, she needs her heart medicine, her blood pressure medicine, right, guys?
Those individuals
I'm sure they're looking at Walgreens, CVS, any of the local pharmacies in Tucson, Arizona, or anywhere in that local area. Or maybe there's leads that she's not even in Arizona. They are looking at every drugstore within 50 miles of range, maybe 100-mile range, because somebody is going to keep this woman alive. If indeed the ransom note is now real, they want the money. They want the money, right? So think about that. They're going to use her credit cards because they got her purse. Use that if indeed there's a copayment. Maybe there's no copayment if she has Medicare, depending. And they're going to want to know, they're going to get that medication and give it to her. But here's the problem. This woman's got to be stressed. This is an elderly lady. We would be stressed, right? Think about it.
On television, we see a series of dirt roads, but at some point,
think about
it has to intersect with a traffic light. So those traffic cams can be very instrumental in capturing a license plate as it relates to an individual that came from.
I can't wait to hear from the press conference.
Widen the net as possible.
And Nicole, if I could, we're told we're probably within about 5 minutes of the news.
5 minutes, folks.
I want to come back to the ransom.
5 minutes.
And the message that was sent from the
Here we go.
Here is part of that, Savannah Guthrie, related to the ransom note. Listen here.
Listen to this.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can.
This was last night.
We are ready to talk. We need to know,
thank you, Sam.
without a
Samuel.
doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
I think the ransom note's real.
She's a journalist, she's a writer, she's a communicator.
I think it's
She's
real,
really
folks.
good
What do you
at writing
think?
that herself. But you believe, Nicole, that was probably done with consultation with the hostage rescue team or with the FBI profilers?
Listen in.
I believe it was the behavioral analysis unit, and they again specialize in
The brother-in-law's
the FBI
suspect.
profiling.
Yeah, I've heard that a
Or
couple
what's called
times.
BAU.
Thank you. We don't
That's
know.
Very, very common. I have no doubt Savannah Guthrie is very talented, and I'm sure that
We
she
might
has
know in a
lots of
few
ideas
minutes.
and that she had a very strong influence on what was written. And I'm guessing that the family coordinated with law enforcement. That's something that you commonly do, but at many times, they work together and then they come up with a statement. And I think that's certainly what they did in this situation. And
Maybe.
it's very, very key right now that let's see what happens, because sometimes these take time. And if this is a legitimate ransom, someone out there should be responding. If it is a hoax, obviously we will never hear anything.
What is that?
Or, if it's a false person trying to get money, law enforcement will be able to sniff that out in no time. But let's see what happens. But the issue here is that this is an elderly woman. She needs her medication. Time is of the essence. And so obviously law enforcement, they are working tirelessly behind the scenes, but time is important, and they need to have a proof of life. With AI and all of the things that you could copy her voice, that will not be enough. You will not fool law enforcement. We need to bring her back to safety soon.
Yeah, there's been so many different ways to look at this and so much different analysis, including Ed Smart, the father of Elizabeth Smart, who offered why over the past few days there was speculation surrounding why we weren't seeing the family members, but of course they too, very early on, have to be, Darren, part of the investigation. He said this earlier, listen.
Clearing the family is crucial. They're generally the first place that law enforcement look. So, cooperating
Looking at this
with
vehicle a lot, right?
To bring that to a close as quickly as possible so that they can move on to other potential parts of the investigation were really important. In our case, it went on for days trying to clear the family.
Yeah, I mean, you think about, they were, grieving the loss of their mother.
Welcome in, folks. We're about, it's about 11:15 a.m.
Darren, but at the same
Tucson,
time,
Arizona.
Questions to clear themselves from
Press
the
conference should be
investigation.
coming up soon. We'll listen in.
Right. Law enforcement and the victim's family should be working in tandem. One of the first things that the victim's family would do in a situation such as a kidnapping is they would actually visit the residence, and they would be able to assess if there was property taken, such as valuables and things to that effect. That can be something that law enforcement can use moving forward in terms of was this
Yeah, this beautiful lady, grandma,
in addition
84
to that,
years young,
the family
abducted now
would
5
have a
days.
better understanding of the possible whereabouts any conflict that the victim may have gone through with someone else. Because
Think they found her?
the
Think they know where she's at?
And this can be amplified to law enforcement. The person in law enforcement that would be assisting or dealing with the family, we refer to them as a coach. That coach is someone that gains a level of communication.
Well, assuming that there's no meds with her, it's very sad. And who's going to buy those at the pharmacy? So hopefully they're looking at every pharmacy in that surrounding area, and then they can law enforcement can come in. But assuming she don't have her meds, and I don't think she does,
I think the family
it's a
can provide
very dangerous
information,
situation.
or they've already provided information that we as the public watching on television have not seen. And I believe that the sheriff is keeping a lot of this close to the breast, because there were cameras in that house.
Welcome in, welcome in.
Just think,
Some are saying it might not end up well.
Family member that's 80+ years of age that has a physical disability will have those cameras in the house. Initially, when the reports came out, this wasn't mentioned, but now this is being mentioned. So a lot of my question is, was the content held in a cloud, or was it held in a localized unit in the house? I'm hopeful that law enforcement has captured that information.
Jim says she's gone. We're going to get some more information. They're going to probably need the media's help.
Part of the investigation.
I believe they're going to tell us a little bit more today.
This is of a law enforcement officer.
What is
We don't know
that?
If it's FBI or if
What
it's
is that?
They're in the Cellbrite case.
Oh.
What is in that case and what is it used for?
All right, that's a very, very
Oh,
important question.
Oh, hold on that. I'm sorry, because the Sheriff Daniels is up at the.
Oh, here we go, guys.
lectern now. We're going to just listen in. We'll get back to you on that point in just a second.
Welcome in.
I hope you've been kind of informed of the rules. I'm going to try to get as many, if not all of you, an opportunity to ask a question. But last time we tried this, it was just kind of chaotic, people yelling. So I'd ask that you just kind of be patient with me, pay attention to the questions asked, because sometimes you guys want to ask the same question twice, and you're going to get the same answer. So to help yourself get what you can out of this. I'm going to give you one question and a follow-up, okay? But before we get there, I do have some comments. First of all, I want to begin by offering our condolences to our partners at the state. Department of Public Safety's tragically lost 2 members last night in a helicopter crash up in northern Arizona. So if you would keep them in your prayers, Colonel Glover and his team.
Helicopter crash looking for her.
Greatly appreciate it.
That woman, wow.
Along the same lines, I think you all saw last night, I'm trying to speak up, not yell, because apparently I talk soft. We saw last night the family, they just hurt, understandably so. And so I really want you to know this entire team here, those behind me, and our community are hurting with you. We really just want Mom back, okay? Right now, we believe Nancy is still out there. We want her home. Our department, the Sheriff's Department, along with all
I hear
our
you, Jim.
partners at the FBI, have been working around the clock. And we just want her home and find a way to get to the bottom of all of this, just as you do. But I have other partners out there who have stepped up, and you've probably noticed them in the last few days, if not the last few hours, and you're going to see more of that. Well, I made a decision to contact our PCRIT team, and those of you not local, that's our Pima Regional Critical Incident Team. It's made up of law
I hear you again, Jim.
From this
I hear you again, Jim. I really do.
Milwaukee Police Department,
Hello, Mike.
Tucson Police Department, Marana Police Department, Orono Valley Police Department, Pima College Police Department, it's just Tucson International Police Department, Sarita Police Department. There's so many of them, and they are going to help us tremendously. And that's really done because we have so much in front of us still, and we're hoping that, I know the FBI has committed a very large number of men and women to partner with us, work side by side with us. We go do an interview, they're going to be there with us.
Don't believe they found her yet, Mike. But
look at some evidence.
there might be some new evidence
They're going to be right there with us.
on this
We're sharing
ransom note.
every piece of information,
Let's listen in.
all the data we can, to get this thing solved. And it's important that my partners in law enforcement know and understand their roles, because it is very large, complex investigation with a lot of moving parts. And we're at that phase now where sometimes we're...
Wilco, thank you, my friend. Wilco.
We're waiting for analysis. We're
Thank
waiting
you.
for lab reports. But even then, when they come back quickly, for example, some DNA, we rushed what we thought was the best target for DNA. We did a rush through and got some of that back. The results were minimal. I think you all know of the blood on the porch. That was one we did. It came back to Nancy. That's what we know. But there's still more items that have been submitted. We just haven't got them back yet. But in the meantime, we're not just sitting on our haunches waiting. We do.
She might be around the area. Thank you for that comment.
And that's why we brought in the FBI for one, the PCRIT as well, to be able to get out there and handle these leads as they come in as quickly and as expeditiously as we can. And every single lead is looked at, every one of them. And so we're gearing up. You probably have some questions about what you've seen in the last couple of days. I'll gladly answer those at that time. But it really is about getting our partners out there. To be fair, when we went to that scene the first night, Saturday night, it was just us. Since then, the FBI and others have asked, can we go and see it as well? And that's what you've been seeing. But it is a very important case to not just me and my team, but this entire community, all of our law enforcement partners. Suspects. I know there's been a lot.
Here we go, guys. Suspects.
About suspects.
Suspects.
And I want to be very clear. At this time, we have not identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case.
Interesting.
We are working our best.
Why aren't they asking for the media help?
To be clear, we have nobody of interest or any suspects that you would consider a prime suspect. We're just not there. We're not there yet. The timeline.
Jim Jimson, I agree with you on this sheriff. I have to say I agree with you, my friend.
We have been able to develop with some of the things that we've had processed. Various pieces of
All right, now.
that we've gathered.
I just want to put this out on the screen, guys, because you never know who comes on any lives. Any 1-800 call FBI.
Processed at different lab sites.
Nancy
Sometimes that
Guthrie
stuff comes back to
investigation.
us, and like you, we have questions. And we say, wait a minute, what is this about? What about this? Could it be that? And so it's sent back, or it's sent somewhere else.
My question is, who's buying
And that's happening with
her heart medicine?
Things we see, that process, that.
Who's
review,
getting her
that
medication to stay
All
alive
right, what is it we're looking
for 5 days? That's my
So,
question.
I'll go over it with you. You can see it on the board there, but at about 5:32 p.m., these are approximate times. 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels to her local family's home for dinner and playing games with the family. Okay? Just visiting. At 9:48 p.m., which is very consistent to what we were told by the family, that Nancy was dropped off at home, and we know that because we had a garage door open at approximately, I can't stress that enough, at approximately 9:48 p.m.
Okay, we haven't heard that before.
At 9:50 p.m., that garage door closes.
Okay.
It's that time we assume that Nancy's home.
Got it.
And probably going to bed. Sunday morning, early morning at 1:47 a.m.,
Whoa, look at this.
the doorbell camera disconnects. At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on a camera, but there's no video available. They had no subscription.
Bradley, her heart medicine.
Or it would rewrite itself.
She had a pacemaker. She had some heart
It just kind of
problems.
loops, right, and covers up. That's what our analysis teams have told us. We're not done with that. We'll do all we can, but that's what it says. So it detects a person on camera. Could that be an animal? I imagine that's possible. We don't know that. We just have no video. But we're not giving up on that. 2:28. Nancy's pacemaker app shows that it was a disconnect from the phone. And at 11:56 a.m., the family checks on Nancy, and discovers her missing. And at 12:03 p.m., 911 is called in to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I believe it's about approximately 10 minutes later, 12 minutes later, our patrol teams arrive. They see the scene. We start our response with our search and rescue teams and our detectives from homicide and various units. In fact, every unit here, I think.
Good morning, Ozzy. Good morning.
How come there's an ICAC?
Thank you,
member
sir,
out here,
for
or
being here for a few
this
minutes.
member?
Thank you.
Everybody in our criminal investigations team is a part of this team and part of this investigative effort. I think with that, let me make sure. Now, I want to clarify some things that.
Someone said the sheriff is plucking my nerves. We'll talk about it in a second.
The doorbell camera.
Anybody knows this whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie, please look at the screen and call.
Were smashed or destroyed around the house.
You never
I
know.
don't know where that came from, but that's something we're not confirming. The car, the car that was at the home, it's just standard investigative practices. It's part of the search warrant, seeing court orders. We pull it out of there and do our scene processing with the vehicle. Uber, we did speak to a driver because Nancy, we learned, had been taken
Uber driver
to the family residence, the daughter for dinner, and we located that.
Who was the Uber driver?
Spoke with them and got that information.
Okay.
You guys got this, I think, conducting follow-up.
I'm sure yeah. It's a kind of a,
I think you said somebody.
in this situation, kind of a funny
team out
comment.
there again last night or yesterday.
We're gonna talk about it after we've done the press conference.
About before. Our partners wanted a chance to see it and examine things themselves, and more importantly, it's just we're constantly following up on things and go, hey, what about this? So we want to go back and check on some things. Oh, here's the other thing. Someone had mentioned there was forced entry. I have no clue where that comes from. We have been very consistent. We are not discussing that at all.
Okay, that was no forced entry. Where did that come from?
That is something we're just
I
not
repeat,
discussing.
no forced entry into the home of Nancy Guthrie. Interesting now. Where did that rumor
I
start?
think I am about done with my piece of this. I'm going to bring up here Keith Yankee, and I think you know, John Edwards is the assistant agent in charge with the FBI here at the Tucson office. Keith Yankee is the special agent in charge for the state of Arizona out of Phoenix, and he will come up and speak.
We'll talk about the sheriff after it's done.
Thank you, Sheriff. Hello, I'm Heath Yankee, the Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Phoenix Division. First, I want to let the Guthrie family know that our hearts are heavy for them. After seeing your message last night, it is clear that you and your family are in pain. Please know that we are doing everything to bring your mother home. The FBI is now working this case jointly with the Pima County Sheriff's Department. And we're going to start today by announcing a $50,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie and
$50,000, folks.
and conviction.
They finally got a reward out.
In her disappearance, and this will be the missing persons with the reward that will be going out. The FBI has agents, analysts, and professional staff employees working day and night with our partners at the Sheriff's Department. We have deployed additional intelligence and agents.
I hear you loud and clear, Mike M.
We have brought in our critical incident response group from Quantico, Virginia. Members from our cellular analysis survey team are here, and they continue to collect and process digital information. We are actively reviewing and analyzing information from all digital sources, which includes banks, social media companies, phone companies, and any other organizations where a digital footprint could have been captured. All this information provides data points and helps put the picture together. And we will be in the community continuing to conduct a thorough investigation with our partners. You heard about us out there last night.
Great comment there coming in there, 3553.
Give our investigators the space to do their jobs while they're out there. Next, regarding the ransom letter. We are aware of a ransom letter that was sent to the local media.
Interesting,
and
Ozzy, I know.
national outlets.
I'm glad you said that.
As with every lead, we are taking it seriously. We are in communication with the family. And while we advise and recommend from a law enforcement perspective, any action taken on any ransom is ultimately decided by the family. Thank you to those in the community that have called in tips. For anyone out there that may have information, no matter how small you think it may be, please report it. You can do so by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or online at tips.fbi.gov. My next message is to those imposters who are trying to take advantage and profit from this situation. We will investigate and ensure you are held accountable for your actions. We have made one arrest related to an imposter ransom demand, and a complaint will be presented to a magistrate judge later today. You will get more on that from the FBI and our U.S. Attorney's Office here in Arizona when it becomes available. To anyone that may be involved, do the right thing. This is an 84-year-old grandma. This is an 84-year-old grandma that needs vital medication for her well-being. You still have the time to do the right thing before this becomes a worse, much worse scenario for you. Please return Nancy home. Thank you.
Alright, so you're gonna call me? Okay, so the first person we're gonna start with the list is gonna be NBC National, Liz right here.
Can you walk us through that timeline from when you believe, if you look at this here, from 147 to 228, what you think happened there, and what particular software would have detected somebody on camera?
Yeah, I don't.
We're looking at the time on the video surveillance if you're just coming in. Excuse me, sorry.
I'm just not in the weeds. I know that, think of your doorbell cameras. Somebody walks up, my wife's, if I walk up, she gets an alert, and it's usually something like that. A person's detected.
So to understand the call, one, does that mean that it was about a 45-minute span that the suspect or suspects would have been on the property? And then also, does this essentially mean that you've cooperated with the tech companies and you can officially say that no surveillance video is available from the home?
We know that the tech company that...
Hey, that's another great comment, actually.
Yes,
there is no
said
other video
they-
from
they've
neighbors
been out
from the
of
cameras.
ways to recover.
That's a great comment.
Next person's gonna be ABC News, Aaron Patricia.
That's a real good comment.
Yeah, I'm sorry, was what 45 minutes?
Can we say it's about a 45-minute span that somebody would have been on the property then from 147 to 228?
Yeah, I think those times speak for themselves, and it is about, like I said, those are approximates, so, yeah. I'm sorry, who was next, did you say?
Hi, sir. Thanks very much. Is there information that you are purposely withholding because of the active investigation that might be leading you in a particular direction?
You know, this is no different than any criminal investigation that we conduct here. Law enforcement has conducted investigations since 1865 here in County. We're always mindful of what it is that's in front of us and what we should release and can release. There's legal guidelines that guide us, but there's also strategy too. So, you know, I'll leave that for you to determine.
Now that you are having such an injection of manpower from the FEMA critical incident team and the FBI, would you slow to bring that in at the outset should all of these resources be brought to bear sooner?
I guess that, you know, it's Monday morning quarterbacking. I do it all the time, so you have the opportunity to do it for me. I'll take that hit.
CBS News, Jonathan and
Yes, they are, Ozzy.
Has there been any
Yes, they are.
proof of life? And has there been any sign of her life?
Any sound of life.
I'm going to, anything to deal with the ransom notes and that, I would defer to the FBI, but no, to my knowledge, we're still looking for Nancy.
And for my follow-up question, if I can speak with the special agent, what was it about this apparent ransom note that now 3 days on, you first had a to validate, and second, if warranted, informing the Guthries of its existence.
So the ransom note that was sent out there, obviously every lead in this case we are taking extremely serious.
Given what is presented to the family, why this one?
Because this was the ransom that came in and it had facts associated with a deadline, with a monetary value they were asking for. So at that point,
What were some of those facts, if you can, because there's been a lot.
Call Nick Shirley. Absolutely.
yeah, the ransom itself, one talked about an Apple Watch and one talked about a floodlight. We're not going to go into specifics. It's very important that we keep this investigation moving forward, and we don't want to put more facts out there that others then can use to try to profit from this.
Good morning, members, and Chris, and Bama. Good afternoon.
I want to follow up with you real quick on that. There have been, as far as we know, I think.
Palon, how are you?
Ransom notes so far, one arrest. Are they all different? Do you think there's different authors behind all of them, or?
So the one that went to the media is the one we're currently investigating and working on. The imposter that I talked about, where an arrest was made early this morning, that there'll be more information. We believe there's no evidence to connect this to Nancy's case. It was someone that was trying to profit from it.
Okay, there you go.
And Sheriff, you started off the press conference by saying you believe that Nancy is still out there. Do you have reason to believe that she's still out there alive, or are you fearful of the worst case scenario here, that she won't be found alive?
Well, I'm certainly fearful of that. I think we all are. But it is, we operate from a position that until we know she's out there, she's alive, and we're going to continue
Amen,
to get
Palon.
that way until we find her.
Fox Digital, Mike Reese.
Yeah, sir. Michael Rose, Fox Digital. Sheriff, you said you've identified no suspects. Have you ruled out anyone she was with on Saturday night?
You know, we talked to
Kind of funny,
I'm
Ozzy.
sure that
I'll just laugh on that comment.
This one's fair, or this one isn't, but no, I wouldn't say anybody's ruled out yet, because what if I rule you out and then later I learn something?
Sounds like there's no ransom note. It looks like somebody was, how do you say this? Impersonating the alleged kidnapping, which is a huge crime as that. Ozzy Crosby, welcome in, my friend. So they feel there's no ransom note, or the ransom note was real. It was real as far as TMZ, but it was not made up. Chris says the government's doing this.
I would say the DNA
Interesting.
aspect of this case is being
Welcome in,
handled by
Chris.
the
Hope you're
King
doing
County
well.
Sheriff's Department right now. However, should we get to that point, yes, that would be an option for the FBI to assist.
And a quick follow-up, there's a ransom note that you're working, establishing
Listen in.
communication protocols.
If you're just coming in and talking about the ransom note,
If someone has Nancy and is demanding the ransom, that there is communication with the family. We talked about has been no proof of life.
Thank you, Ozzy.
And there was
Crosby.
no other
Both
demands
Ozzy's.
in that letter. So they're still waiting for communication.
ABC affiliate, Ashley Holden. Right here, Ashley Holden. When you say the doorbell camera was disconnected, do you believe that camera was taken?
We do not have it in our possession, we've not located it.
And then a follow-up. I know that we've been hearing a lot about ransom notes. We were also hearing in that video that was put out by the Guthrie siblings, and I don't know if this is a question for FBI or yourself, but the challenges of seeing an image and knowing that it's real. We wanted to address that. Has the family received correspondence?
hey, great question. Can you guys hear it?
So we're not going to go into facts regarding this part of the investigation.
That was a good question.
Part of that message was, with AI these days, you can make videos that appear to be very real. So we can't just take a video and trust that is a proof of life these days because of the advancements in AI and trying to actually get a proof of life that we can verify. But we're not going to go into anything the family may or may not have received.
What?
So, in regards to a timeline
Basically,
on that ransom note,
show a body to get paid, but he was just saying with this AI they can easily make up a body, I guess.
So in regards to the timeline in.
But the question was
are we
about the
nearing that
Ramson
timeline?
proof.
Is that playing a part in the investigation?
We're not gonna go again into specifics of that part of the investigation with the ransom note, other than what we put out there. We've been transparent, we're talking about, we are working that ransom demand, but we don't want to go anything further than that could impact any opportunities.
Well, he can't. I mean, he can't go into it more than that.
At the crime scene, other than the technology that you guys are using for this timeline, is there anything else that's helping you guys other than really the technology?
Well, I think I said on day one is that it's technology that's going to really help us solve this case. But no, I mean, you know, we did do a process of that scene for biological evidence.
This was like the timeline
that maybe something was
approximately from the video surveillance.
Arizona Republic, Richard Wella.
Rated Yankee.
If you're just coming in,
On the scene, I believe it was you taking a tripod.
don't seem like we got too much information. We did get some.
If at all, in creating the video, any advice for the family?
I would say we use our expertise and provide consultation and advice anytime a family would ask for our advice in a kidnapping. It's ultimately the family's decision of what they put out and any messages they put out. But we were, obviously you're all documenting every move we make. We were there last night and talking with the family. But every decision is theirs.
Right, I was a tripod in the room, I didn't sure. Now, you said the blood was found on the porch and on the front stoop. Just wanted to verify that.
I say porch, front stoop. It's all in that same general area by the front door.
The question is about the blood. It's in the front porch.
Given her medical condition.
And it wasn't a lot of blood.
It was her blood, as you say. What would her medical condition do with her recovery if she indeed bled out or was bleeding when she left the house?
Well, again, I've got to be careful for HIPAA, but I would say this. We know she is in need of medication, daily medication. And we also know that this is day 4 or 5 and still...
Day 5.
We don't know that she's getting her
Day
medication.
5.
That could in itself prove fatal.
Yeah, that'll be a question. For KGUN News, we have Craig Smith or Akita.
Craig?
KGUN, Akita.
By the front row. Thank you. Yes.
With anyone who you believe could be the kidnapper?
You know, it goes back to what we talked about. Nobody's eliminated, but we just really don't have enough to say, this is our suspect, this is our guy, we know, or our gal. We just don't know that. And it's really kind of reckless to report that someone is a suspect when they could very well be a victim. It just, I bring to you, to the media, I plead with you to be careful of what it is we put out there, because we don't have anybody here listed as a suspect. And you could actually be doing some damage to the case, but you could do some damage to that individual too. Social media is kind of an ugly world sometimes.
And how far out have you expanded your search?
You know, I would tell you this, look, nothing's off the table. If we get a lead that there's somebody, hey, you've got this over here, or we're going. And that
Interesting, Crystal.
Expand.
Interesting.
I think the FBI, with their billboards, they're now planning to put those up at every state around here, at all of our neighboring states. So, yeah, we use you, the national media, the FBI with their national outreach, to affect that for us. But as far as the actual investigation, naturally the scene is the primary, and we just keep spreading it out as we get more and more leads.
Court TV, Cody Thomas.
Hey, Sheriff. Actually, my question is for Agent Yankee. You know, we saw Savannah Guthrie and her sibling family put out that video last night on Instagram addressing, you know, the tragedy that this is, but also addressing the ransom letter saying they're ready to talk. My question is, did the FBI or any other agency help them craft that message she put out on social media?
Like I said to the previous question, we have an expertise when it comes to kidnappings. And when families want advice, consultation, expertise, we will provide that. But the ultimate decisions on what they say and how they put that out rests with the family itself.
And as far as suspects, I know we haven't identified one, but what type of suspect or suspects do we think we're dealing with here?
At this time, like the sheriff has said, there is no primary suspect identified.
No
So-
primary suspect. Of course, they're not going to let the public know at this point.
You
You know that.
investigating the son-in-law in this case?
Son-in-law. Somebody used to ask about the son-in-law. Here we go, son-in-law.
Related to him or come close to it, or are you actively looking at him?
We're actively looking at everybody we come across in this case.
The son-in-law.
We would be irresponsible if we didn't talk to everybody, the Uber driver, the gardener, the pool person, whoever, everybody. It's so cliche, but everybody's still a suspect in our eyes. That's just how we look at things.
The pool guy, the gardener, the son-in-law,
prime suspect,
the neighbors.
and the family's been very cooperative. They've done everything we've asked of them, and we want that relationship to continue. And sometimes people can be mean out there, and that can really harm us and harm our efforts.
Did you find blood anywhere else in the home besides the porch?
The only DNA evidence we've got back is on the porch. We prioritize things and we rush things, and those items we put out to a lab to rush it. And even then, it's 2, 3, 4 days. The other items could take 10 days, 20 days, but we saw the importance of that blood.
Did you guys hear that? The blood, according to the sheriff, it was only out in that porch.
I don't know.
Around the carpet of the porch, outside the house, not inside.
And we've not gotten any feedback.
Newsmax, Sarah Williamson. Hi there. My question is just piggybacking off our colleagues here about how far this search has gone. When it comes to doorbell cameras, you say technology plays a critical
Thank you for your comment, Brian.
Looking at neighbors and businesses and collecting those doorbell cameras, and is there anything that hasn't come up there, and how far it's gone?
I can't tell you whether things have come up or not, but we have door-to-door. I think we're still doing door-to-door, not just in that neighborhood, but other neighborhoods. But just as leads come in and take us somewhere, we're going to do those things.
Okay, and just to follow up as well in regards to the video that was released by Nancy Guthrie's children last night, just to clarify, that was not coordinated with any law enforcement beforehand, and that you hadn't seen that video before it was released?
The FBI is handling all things with the ransom.
I think the answer was yes, we were there. The media was there. We can help coordinate, provide that consultation, but that is the family's decision of what they film and what they put out.
Justin.
Agent Yoki, this one's for you. Following up on that video that was released yesterday, that ultimately any further action is decided on by the family. Since then, have they expressed any interest in more efforts to try and get in contact with who is behind the ransom letter? And do you have a crisis or any sort of hostage negotiator with your team for that type of situation if it moves forward?
So the two parts of that question I think it's pretty clear. The family wants to be contacted. They know time is of the essence, and if those that may have Nancy are watching this, the family is ready to talk, give proof of life, because there has been no contact after that ransom note went to the media. For your second question, yes, we have crisis negotiators. That is part of our team here locally, along with the personnel we brought in from Quantico, and they will be part of it, but we're not going to go beyond that of any specifics.
Sheriff Nanos, taking down the crime scene perimeter after Monday's investigation and really opening access to that property to everyone else, was that something you would do differently looking back, knowing that federal authorities also conducted a search yesterday? Would you have kept that perimeter up?
Monday morning quarterback, I probably would have, but I'll say this. We processed the scene, we got what we thought was complete. My team did that. I have to have all the faith and trust in their abilities and their skills, and I think they went through that pretty well. But because another agency now steps in and wants to assist, we're just like with you, we're an open book. But absolutely, how can we help? One of the things people don't see, I heard your question about, and we left and then others can walk
Who would
up.
take this beautiful
process.
84-year-old woman, grandma,
To the, in this case, the homeowner,
mother.
the family.
Who would take this lady and why? Why?
We don't just go march back.
Is it
in.
just money?
We call the family.
Is it
again
just
and
money,
get
folks,
permissions
or is there
go
more
back
to it? Was it a bad
So,
report
yeah,
because they were reporters? The daughter is a reporter from Australia?
Absolutely, I probably could.
Or was it just some psycho?
We knew that the FBI.
Was it some psycho?
we've worked with
What's your
them
thoughts?
before in a lot of cases, and we felt like.
A lot of times it comes down to money, right? Money, money, money.
Analysis we use in a number of things.
Money
but
can be
we-
evil.
At the start of this thing, we weren't sure what we had, and as the day progressed, we realized that there could be more to this, and we started in that. Remember, it was a search and rescue mission the first few hours, and we transitioned that over to a criminal investigation. With that, brought in our partners from the FBI and others.
Have you heard from President Trump?
Great comment, Crystal. Another great comment. You guys are amazing.
Are you next? Okay.
All right, I'm just going to go over that. This is the timeline that they put up to share approximately. You can see the 532
No, and I wouldn't expect
when she
that.
travels to the
He
local
too is a
family
busy
home.
man, right?
I'll leave this here for about a minute.
I would say this, we thank him for him opening up his entire law enforcement team as was put out yesterday, and we know.
You know, that's a great comment. Who benefits from her death? You know, that's a real good comment.
All of our partners.
Actually, an excellent comment. I know I've said it multiple times. Thank you for putting that on there. Biloxi too.
But this isn't.
Who benefits from the death?
We've done this. Gabby Giffords, I headed up that investigation many years ago, and we worked side by side. Could not have got things done.
That's a great comment.
The FBI.
Really, really. I'm sure they're looking at that. That's a great comment.
Have you guys had any communication with Mexican authorities?
I have not. I work closely with the Mexican consulate, as other consulates, being the sheriff, but no, I have not heard from them.
Arizona Revisión Monterrey. Hi, Sheriff. My question is, do you know, it's a two-part question, do you know what medication Nancy uses?
This is a good question.
Local pharmacies and pharmacies around the state where they bought her save those medications to keep her alive, keep her healthy, while still working for her.
So we do know what medications, and we have contacted pharmacies, probably need to go back.
All right, they answer my question.
Maybe we contacted them early on. I know that night, Saturday night, Sunday morning. I know we were doing all the hospital checks, and that check was continuous every hour, going back out and physically in person.
Great comments coming in.
Going to each local.
Good response, nurse.
And asking them to check their logs.
My second question here is, I know you're looking for her in Fremont County. Are you looking for her across the state now? And if so, is there a particular area that you're focusing on right now?
Well,
They're asking.
we're looking for her everywhere. Right?
I heard
The FBI,
there's reports that she's in Las Vegas, but you know, this kind of stuff just scatters all over the place.
There's, yeah, it's statewide. The billboards are going to be out there across the country. We take leads from everywhere, and where those leads take us, we'll get there.
MS Now, Alex Talbot.
Agent Nancy, do you have any reason to believe that Nancy Guthrie may be being held outside of the country? Is that something that you've ruled out at this point?
We don't have any of that information. We haven't ruled anything out.
The question
Like I
is,
said,
could she
we'll
be
follow
outside the
facts
country,
wherever they
folks?
take us. Whether it is outside of the state of Arizona or over the border, we will follow the facts and go there. But we have no indication anything over the Mexican border.
And you mentioned on the ransom note there were details about the Apple Watch and the floodlight.
Yeah, what's up with the Apple Watch? Apple Watch. What's up with that?
KOLD. Are they all the same ransom note? Do they contain the same details in each of those individual ransom notes?
The ones that I am tracking and aware of were the same.
Take a look at this lady,
With the
folks.
TMZ also.
News Nation, Brian Penton.
Agent Young,
Yes.
when did the first ransom note arrive?
When did the first ransom note arrive?
On social media, and you could see like floodlights on video. So was it before those things were out in the world?
I don't have the specific time frame as I sit here today of what time it came in, but that you are right. Anyone could see a floodlight hanging down. could have seen some of those things. The watch has been talked about, so that timing is tricky, but that's why we're taking it serious no matter what, and following the leads on that. But I don't have the time frame that the first note came in as I sit here today. Thank you.
And my follow-up is for the sheriff. In the house, were there any signs that someone tried to clean up?
We'll talk about the brother-in-law as soon as the press conference over. What happened
I
there?
can't talk about the crime scene, so I'll give you another shot, another question.
My other question is, I heard the agent say that it was a joint investigation now. At the other press conference, the FBI.
Thank you, Crystal.
Is it joint now?
Look, I'll just show you the bottom real quick. Real quick. This is from the sheriff. No suspects. And there's a $50,000 reward for the information leading to Nancy Guthrie.
Yeah, it's not about who's in charge. From day one, when we contacted the FBI, they were that gracious to say, whatever you need, whatever you need. And so that's really it. And they're great partners, just as my other local law enforcement brethren there. I didn't even have to ask. That's what's really amazing. I haven't had to call anybody.
Guys, real quick, I'm just going to answer the question as far as the brother-in-law. I think for me, they're not ruling him out, but I think with all our social media on YouTube and Facebook and X and everything else and all our independent journalists, I think somebody just came out and heard something from, it could just be a word that comes out from a police department and then it scatters. Now, it doesn't mean that he's not involved, but also we cannot say he is. And I don't want to put a photo of him on here and get sued. So at this point, he's innocent. The pool guy's innocent. The landscaper's innocent. They're all innocent until they get some more leads, and they're not going to tell us everything.
We're not going to just say, oops, and not go. Absolutely. In this instance, it really was the FBI just wanted to go, hey, can we take a look at it?
Are you worried about that being contaminated at all because?
Hey, Robert.
You know, I'll let the courts worry about that.
Robert Simmons, how are you?
Open to the courts of anything that's been removed from that house, and we follow the rules of laws. We get court orders and go back and reapply for another warrant if need be. All those things we're very careful of.
Who took this woman?
Ellen Boyd over here. In that news release yesterday, there was a report of trespasser. Has the Guthrie family dealt with any incidents, threats, whether it's trespassing, social media threats, anything of that nature?
I am not aware of any of that. I know.
Well, we'll talk about that Bitcoin too.
As with any case, again, we would.
The 2 million, somebody just said the 2 million Bitcoin. Yeah, that's been going around. But again, could be true.
Those things have been looked at. I don't know.
Could be false on the Bitcoin. We just don't know.
In the last 30 days or so.
I'll give you my thoughts in a little bit.
Hey, next door you had a burglary.
Follow-up for the neighborhood where Nancy's home is. Can you give any more details on that trespasser incident?
I don't have them.
It's for the API. I just have a question.
Once again, this is her Nancy timeline from the video surveillance, or the video doorbells, whatever they're called. They weren't the Ring doorbells, but some other kind of doorbell.
Director Patel is being briefed several times a day on this investigation back in DC. He does have a trip scheduled.
Yeah, 50,000, Crystal. It went up to $50,000 reward on the whereabouts or the beliefs and proof where Nancy Guthrie is. 50,000.
And before you do it next,
it was 2,500 and it went to 50,000 like today.
But I think I overstepped you, so if you wanted to ask, I'll give you that.
It's a pretty long press conference, folks.
Absolutely.
Thank you. At what point do you deem the ransom note not credible if there is no communication that follows up since you received it? Like, what's that timeline?
You know, that's somebody just read my mind. That's really, really weird.
I think we start to look at what the lines were.
The longer it goes, the higher the money will go up. I was ready to come out and say that. It's kind of
deadline after that. So
really strange. All right, let's listen in.
In a normal kidnapping case, there would be
not those exact words, but you know what I mean.
To discuss that, but those are the time frames we're looking at. as we move forward.
Are you able to say that second deadline that was given?
I don't have that with me right now.
Thank you. Entertainment tonight, Denny Directo.
Yes, my question actually is for Agent Yonke. There was a report that said the ransom came from an email.
Oh, we have
that was actually
soon a White House press briefing. Soon, White House press briefing. Will they be talking about?
Also conflicting reports about who was the
Why is this getting so much exposure? I'm just asking, guys. I don't want to give my opinion. Why is this getting so much exposure?
Annie or her son-in-law Tommaso who took her home that night.
I think the timeline that the sheriff provided was a family member, but
Just family. We're gonna go with family.
Record TV, Henry Vieira.
Why is it getting so much exposure?
We are professionals, so we are familiar with the area, so we think that is a remote area. So why, my question is, why is it so hard to track a car or something suspicious that have passed through the area at that time? How difficult it is, because probably cameras around or something.
Yeah, you're talking about the challenges.
Thank you, moderators, for being here today. Crystal, Mike.
You know, those are challenges we face all the time. We'd love it to have
To shift the viewers to other things. Thanks.
More urban
Thank you.
nature type area. But once you get
Interesting.
out into the community,
Interesting.
that's not the only part of Tucson that is that way. And we just find ways to overcome those challenges. We don't just disregard it. We still look at ways to find for example, ring cameras that might catch just a piece of something goes by, it doesn't catch the whole car, those kinds of things. We don't give up, we still go out.
At least a car that came out at night.
I can't,
I mean, like miles from the house.
we have cameras all over and those things are being reviewed.
Arizona Republic, Richard Ramos.
I'm a different person was pretending.
Did you get two?
It's the second one.
Was that you?
Sorry.
No.
We are.
Crystal, thank you for your help, my friend. So we got a press conference coming up from the White House.
And I apologize for getting your name wrong here, Ray. Steve-O? Steve-O.
Hi.
The camera that detected movement at 212, was that a different camera than the one that was disconnected at 146?
The question was about, was this a different camera from the other camera, the doorbell?
Which camera that was it? When we did the software, it just told us that the person was detected, but I'm unaware of which camera that was.
There were multiple cameras in the room,
Sure, there were multiple cameras at the home.
You guys know how these cameras work. Anybody on here have these Ring doorbells? And I don't think it was a Ring doorbell that she had. When I see Nancy, but these Ring doorbells, if you have simultaneously, if you have a dog and then a human goes by real quick, sometimes you don't get both, depending on.
People Magazine has a now voucher.
So I wanted a little more clarity to follow up on his. Is there anything more you can say? Was this actually targeted or not? Do you have any?
Was this target or not? That was the question. Was this target or not?
It may have been a target. Maybe it is a kidnapping. But no, we don't have anything to.
What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think it was a target? Yes or no? YRN. Was this target?
Are you looking at?
Oh, here we go. Here's you guys who asked about Bitcoin. Here you go. Listen in.
Yes, that's part of the investigation.
Can you go and elaborate any further if you found anything or if there's any ties or any suspect tied to that Bitcoin?
There's not at this time.
Associated Press, Joe.
Not sure, yes.
Hi, sure. Just to follow up.
You're Joe?
I'm sorry.
You're Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Joe. Okay.
Just to follow up to a prior question, you had said earlier.
Chris says for sure.
That authorities don't believe
For
that
sure.
Guthrie was targeted. Why don't authorities think that Guthrie was targeted?
Who said that? Who said they didn't
You
think
had
she?
that earlier in the investigation.
Boy, if I said I absolutely misspoke. I've never thought she was or wasn't targeted. We've always
Bitcoin
believed
can
that.
and will be
That's
traced.
certainly a possibility. You'd be silly not to think that. If somebody disappears.
Hey, thank you all for being here from the beginning. Thank you for liking.
You can understand.
I'm just a small YouTube channel. But we're covering this. I mean, this is amazing reporting here on this press conference, but very sad story, because this could be our mom, our grandmom.
Motive's always going to be a question, and we'll know more as we go what that motive is. But right now, my guesswork is as good as yours.
And then we also have, the final one will be from, KPO here in Taiwan.
Okay, so let's talk about that 5 p.m. Did you say 5 p.m. deadline today? Is that the deadline? I believe that's where the FBI is. Can you just give us some sound on that? Because that's a big deal. That's within hours about the 5 p.m. deadline for the ransom.
Marie, as we speak, Marie, no. Just to get right to it, no. They have not. We're listening to the tail end of the press conference. I'm just going to show this one last time here. This is the Nancy Guthrie approximately timeline here. I'll keep this up for about 30 seconds.
Did make a demand for 5 p.m. today, and if a transfer wasn't made, then I think a second demand was for next Monday. We're not going to go beyond that, but that was the ransom note the media received.
To indicate what would happen if they didn't meet that ransom.
We're not going to go into those specifics. Thank you.
5 p.m. Eastern, I'm sorry, I know it's Arizona. It's 5 p.m.
It's 5 p.m.
And then, sorry about that, Inside Edition, Jim Ray.
Special agent Guthrie, given the fact that the
Hey guys, I'm going to lower this for a second. I want to say thank you so much for Crystal and Mike for being our moderators, doing a super job. Thank you for all the great comments. You guys are amazing. Look, I'm going to just pause it for a second. The reason why this press conference is taking longer than normal press conference in similar situations, only my opinion, guys, okay, is they are very optimistic that she's alive. All right, this is only my opinion. I'm a very positive person as well, though. I think that she might be alive, this woman here. And I think if the longer they go on here, and they're assuming with all the internet and TVs and YouTube TV and all this, etc., yada, 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 they're hoping that the person or persons, plural, that abducted this woman, this beautiful woman, and they're hoping that maybe there's a possibility that maybe there is a ransom. I know I said maybe not, maybe, I'm not sure. But I'm just trying to get into heads why this is so long. I didn't believe it was this long. And hoping that he or she or both are watching this, and maybe get spooked, or they can trace where they're at. Maybe, they're not, the FBI, by the way, President Trump is very much involved. He's actually helping out with federal agents. I'm not sure why he's so involved. But anyhow, back to this. I got off topic for a sec. I just want to tell you the president, whether you support him or not, is involved. Now, I think maybe they're hoping they can trace those people that abducted her, and maybe she's alive. Maybe she's alive.
Added granularity with that timeline. That at 9:48 p.m. the family dropped off Nancy Guthrie at her home. 9:50 the garage door closes. Then there was a break until 1:47 in the morning where the doorbell camera disconnects. 2:12.
Now, let me just turn the camera.
Software detects a person on camera.
Guys, I am running out of time. I just wanted to give my opinion. My opinion is probably not much.
And then
First of all, thank you so much for joining. We're just a small YouTube that we don't cover a lot of these crimes, but this is a very important. This is sad in so many ways. Again, I believe that press conference went, in my opinion, a little longer than, because A, they assume that she's alive, and they're taking that ransom note very suspicious. They're taking it very real. Now, as far as the Bitcoin, I heard about the Bitcoin. Could be there's Bitcoin that they want, or it could just be a lot of hackers out there. There's so many hackers from other countries that are just kind of feeding in this. I feel that there's hackers feeding into that. I'm just my opinion. I could be wrong. So I'm going to rule that. I'm going to rule that out. They're not. I am. Now, ransom note. The question I have is why TMZ? Because more people watch it. I don't know. Why not one of the big headline news channels? But regardless, it went to TMZ. I believe maybe they got I think they said they had 2 ransom notes. Maybe they feel there's enough evidence, the FBI, that there's proof. Now, as far as the sheriff looking kind of worn out and old, I think it's unfair. I mean, he's not like sharp, but you know, guys, he only can say what he could. Um, you know, I've heard better press conferences and better sheriffs. Everybody's different as far as their voices go. I don't want to be too critical on him. He's got to be very careful on what he can say because the feds are involved. There's 100 detectives involved. So he's got to be very careful on his words. So I think it would be unfair to like hammer him, even though I was like questioning him in the beginning. Just my thoughts. I don't know who he is, but you know, there was some response on here that he just looks like unorganized, or maybe I'm putting words in somebody's mouth. But anyhow, not at his best. But what do we know? Well, we know that they held a press conference a little longer than I think they did. What else do we know? That the blood was outside in the front porch from the mat, and what else do we know? We know the timeline of the cameras of the Ring door. I keep saying Ring doorbell. It's not Ring doorbell, but it's one of those similar DoorDash or door. Excuse me, some kind of a cameras that a lot of us have. Now you would think, I'm going to be very hard, that kind of money they have, they wouldn't have like some kind of huge cameras like without Wi-Fi. You know, one of those real advanced cameras. I know a lot of people that have those. I don't know why they didn't, but in any event. Now, one more thing I want to touch on, the son-in-law. I think it was just somebody who said maybe the son-in-law. He could be involved, but I'm not going to put the photo of the son-in-law on my thumbnail or accuse the son-in-law. I'm not even going to say his name because, you know, he could sue. It's not fair. There's no evidence. Again, what else do we know? There's a $50,000 reward leading to Nancy. $50,000 reward. Sorry, I got to let my dog in real quick. So we know there's a big reward. It was 2,500, I believe. Now it's 50 million. Excuse me, 50,000. If I said 50 million, I stand correct. $50,000 reward. Billy, how are you, Billy? Nice to see you. Hey, thank you so much, Legan. Appreciate all your comments. And again, we're just a small little channel covering this story. Breaking news: $50,000 reward leading to the abductors. Ransom notes. Who knows if the ransom notes are real? Maybe they're not. I'm assuming that they might be. But we will find out. 5 days this woman's out there without any kind of medication for her heart. She also has a pacemaker. And you know, my mom, who recently lost her life, and that's fine. You know, in October, had a pacemaker in. Those pacemakers kind of trigger off the time and things like that. But more importantly, the pacemaker is the medication. I'm sure they're checking, you heard the sheriff, every pharmacy from CVS to Walgreens to local pharmacy, because if they want her alive, assuming they want her alive, they're going to get her medication to keep her alive, water, food, and things like that, right? So all eyes are on that. You know, I'd like to be optimistic. I'm going to think that she's alive, but she's got to probably really scared. Because wouldn't you be scared if you're 24, 54, or 84? Particularly when you're an 84-year-old woman who's in pretty good health. Aside, you know, pacemaker, her mind is sharp. It's got to be a very stressful situation. And you wonder on how much stress this can take from her. And yes, indeed, that she is alive. And so.
Data from the device. You're going to get anything that was deleted.
Well, I tell you what we'll do. We're gonna stay with this ongoing. I'm gonna stay with this story. You know, a lot of you know you support me. Come on here. We cover a lot of politics, and the riots and that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna I'm gonna stick to this. I'm gonna stick to this later on, and hoping that they find her. But I'm gonna come back on. There might be another press conference. Maybe they'll get more leads to her. I'm going to follow this maybe 1 or 2 more days in and out. So if it's something that you enjoy, like and subscribe. We appreciate you and all your support. Once again, we are a small YouTube channel. At the end of the day, we help out the homelessness here. There's thousands of short video clips of helping out the homeless here in Las Vegas Metropolitan. And speaking of Las Vegas, I've heard reports that she's here in Las Vegas. I don't know. Again, it could just be rumors because, you know, it's not too far from Tucson, Arizona. Once again, we were listening to the media. We had Fox on. We don't favor Fox. I just had Fox on because it was the quickest news outlet to have it on. Thank you for subscribing. Like, I appreciate you so much. Great comments. There were some really good comments, guys. I try to get to them all. It's a little easier to get to most of them on this. Sometimes we get 4,000 views, 2,000 views, which we all love. More subscribers to build our station, but sometimes it's very well done at 150 to 100. I can read more of the comments. If I don't read your comment, a couple things. One, I didn't get it. I just didn't get it or see it. Two, there's some spam, and I don't like to react to spam. That's just me. And then three, there's just a lot of people out there that are not growing up. I know they call them trolls. They just don't grow up. Once again, guys, let's pray for this woman, 84 years old, and the family. There's no suspects. Even though a lot of you think it's a son-in-law, could be, but until we know for sure, I'm not going to say it's a son-in-law, and I'm not going to put any photos up of the son-in-law or anybody else. Could be, and it also could be the pool guy, but we don't know. It also can be the Uber driver, probably not, but we don't know. You heard him say that. So anyhow, let's take one more look at her, and I'm going to say goodbye. This is her, sweet lady with some heart problems. Very sad, Hopefully she's doing best she can do under the circumstances. Hopefully she's doing well, Palon. A beautiful lady. Really, really beautiful. Doesn't look 84, by the way. I just want to throw it out there. It looks pretty well. I mean, considering the pacemaker and, what she's probably been through, she looks pretty younger. I'm not just saying that. She looks very good for her age, I think. And again, maybe it's the personal training in me. I like to stay positive. Unless we have anything that shows that she's deceased or for YouTube unalive, I'm going to assume that she's alive. And I'm going to assume that that Bitcoin was just somebody trying to hack to try to feed on it, right? And if there is a ransom note, eventually they're going to have to show us a body. And with all this AI exposure, as the sheriff said, I believe was the FBI, we don't know what's real. Is it a real person or not? So we don't know. So in some ways, real quick, guys, I'm rambling on, but I'm trying to make a point. In some ways, AI is great. And in some ways, it's not so great. So anyhow, like and subscribe. I'll keep you up to date. I'm going to follow this story. And because I find it, for me, I want to get it out there because who knows? Somebody could come across this channel or one of the other YouTube channels. Make sure you follow up. There's some great YouTube channels out there showing it. I just wanted to give my perspective. Again, we're just a smaller channel, but I wanted to give my perspective, and I like to read some of the comments. But it's all out there. There's a lot of good YouTube channels out there. JLR is one I enjoy. He has a good channel. Some other ones out there. Support them as well. I would love to cover more, but I have to go to work. And then I will be back. So time to go to work. See you guys. Take good care. God bless. Stay safe. Enjoy. Bye-bye. Thank you.
They're not going to get anything from the video. He said as much, but what it does suggest is that somebody before, or at least at some